You ready? We're ready. We're ready. Hey guys, Kathy Kennedy. This is kind of your pre-show time before we get into Travel Talk Tuesday at 2. I got 153 on the board. And Mr. Denali wanted to say hello. You're going to come up here? You're going to come up? Come up here and show him how big you are. That's how big a boy he says I am. Get your hair straightened out. Yeah, so you look good. So for those of you that have not been a part of Travel Talk Tuesday at 2, I got some I'm getting sugars, really good news. Yeah, Denali's excited about it. Some really good news. And we're going to be able to share that at 2 o'clock today. So I have got a couple of new trips to share, information on travel. I don't know. It's rainy outside. What else is there to do? I don't know if you guys saw Denali's rainy day look, but he has been having so much fun in the backyard because it's been sunny, it's been dry, and he's just been running around and giving fits to every squirrel and bird out there. And then the last day, 2 days now, yeah, see the yawn? Yeah, he's lazing out on me. But he's my big boy. He's going to be all alone here soon. For those of you who are traveling with me at the end of the week, we are headed to Cancun, Mexico. Denali says it was just a little too hot there for him, so he thinks he's going to hang out here in Tennessee. So we're not gonna take him there. So as you guys come on, do me a favor, just let me know that you're there. So if you just kind of sign in. Hello, Miss Connie. Oh, we got Connie, Bob, and Colleen. That is awesome. Yes, you are waiting good news, Connie says. Yes, we have a lot of good news that we're going to be sharing. And it's like, oh my gosh, things are starting to get a little bit more normal. Not that had to, but this morning I heard, not that I get to watch TV that much anymore, but I heard this morning that they're going to be starting back schools and here in the Johnson City area, and there's no mask. So that's just, Denali says that's great because he doesn't like a mask. You can't find one to fit him. Hey, Miss Sarah Housewright. I'm still waiting on Scotland. I'm going to talk about that today, about Scotland and the Highlands. I got an amazing flyer on that, so I'm going to share that today. Mr. Arthur Day, I hope you're packed. I'll meet you in Cancun, buddy. I cannot wait for some nice warm weather that is dry. I don't know. Arthur, did you see the weather for Cancun for the next week? You guys don't want to know that yet. You still got 4 minutes, so I'm killing 4 minutes here. The weather for Cancun. All right, Denali, you're going to have to get down. Say bye to Denali. Well, I guess he just not going anywhere. The weather for Cancun for the next week. Yeah, of course, it's showing that it's raining like cats and dogs here. I mean, can you guys see that? I can't with Denali. It's like the same thing every day. 88 and sunny. Low in the morning is 75. I tell you what, shouldn't have a problem hitting that 50-pound suitcase on this one. Although we are going to be doing some filming while we're down there, and I'll go through that here in a little bit. So I got to take a little bit of equipment with me. Denali's looking at the Cancun weather app here. He's not light. You guys, did you look at this paw? His paw is about the size of my hand. Do you remember this little baby this time last year when I first got him? He says, I'm a good boy. He says, I love my mama. Yeah, he is a good boy. So you need to go. So Mama's got to go to work. No, you can't come up. He's a lap dog. He does like to come up in the lap. Although usually I'm on the couch and it doesn't hurt so bad. So we can't do this in a chair. So Mom's got to get to work. Got to tell everybody all about travel. So again, whew. All right. So you guys do me a favor out there. I'm going to switch over here. There was so much news. I just put together a quick PowerPoint presentation because it's kind of coming in from every which way. And so I'm gonna get that going here in about 2 more minutes. So again, as you guys come on, just put on there that you're there. Hello, Mr. Gary Johnson. Gary, that's Arthur. Arthur, that's Gary. You guys will meet each other in Cancun because you're going down there with me. I'll be on daytime tomorrow. Ooh, don't let me forget to mention that. I'll be on daytime tomorrow with Caesar, who is in Cancun, waiting for us to get there. So that's going to be fun. And hopefully by the time we leave the end of the week, this rain will be out of here. So Arthur, I bet it's not raining in Texas though. Let's see where else we've got some people. Sandy's coming in from South Carolina. She's probably got it. Hey, Miss Weiniger, say happy birthday to your mom and your dad, who's going to be 90 years old. You should be packing too, since you're not going to come in till Monday, but we will be happy to get you as soon as we can. And you're going to celebrate your dad's 90th birthday. That's pretty huge. That is going to be fantastic. This is Denali's pose. You guys think I pose him for pictures. I know. This is just what he does. He's like, okay, this is my couch. This is how I'm going to sit there. All right, so just about a couple of minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on and share with you a little bit. Again, it's going to be pretty quick today, but I want to get the news out and let you know kind of the direction that we're going into. So bear with me as I slowly but surely get this going. Slideshow from the beginning. All right, so you guys can probably see that a little bit better. And it is exactly 2 o'clock on the mode. So this is Travel Talk Tuesday, May 4th. This is May. Woof. This is May 2021. I don't know about you guys, but it's like I still have problems with the dates of the year. I don't know if I've got that mental block from last year. I'm not sure. But it's 2021, May 4th. So we're going to tell you what's going on. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Cancun and Mexico and everything like that. So here we go. News. Let's go over to Europe because I have a lot of people asking me all about Europe right now. And there's some really great news going on. France is going to reopen to foreign tourists starting June the 9th. Now that's a little over a month away. So they're planning on opening up. And if you read this down the bottom, which you guys probably can, it says the French government provides permitting foreign tourists back into France on June the 9th, as long as they have a quote unquote sanitary pass with proof of COVID-19 or a negative PCR. I don't know about that sanitary pass. I don't know. I think they need to come up with something a little more creative, a little different. But tell you right now, vaccines is the magic. So France is opening up. That right there is huge. Number 2, the European Union is going to be, now, you got to watch how marketing kind of words things to make you think and believe it's going to happen. It says the European Union to create a COVID-19 travel certification program. So it's kind of like to get to the European nation, you need to pass this travel certification program. That's not necessarily true. But what they are thinking about doing is putting together something that all of the countries are agreeing on allowing travelers to go back and forth. Because, over in Europe, you could go back and forth. So that's kind of still in the works, FYI. Now, ASTA is a organization that helps supports travel agencies, and they're urging the CDC to lift the reentry rules for travel to Europe. Now, what that currently means is that if you, as you go to, I'm just going to read it, that the news that the European nations plan to reopen to fully vaccinated U.S. travelers this summer noted that the society is now calling the CDC to exempt travelers returning from the EU and having a negative COVID test. So if you think about this, it's not only what has to be going on over in Europe, but it's also what's going on over here in the U.S. if you're traveling between the two, and the CDC kind of holds that ball. So we're hearing that the EU is opening up. So now ASTA is going back to CDC to say, okay, let's open this thing up. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this. If you were on Travel Talk Tuesday back in January and February, I read to you guys and I said to you, what's going to happen is this. You remember January, it was so bad. Everything is locked down. And I kept getting calls. I said, guys, we're at the worst of the worst. It's going to do a loop and then it's going to come down. And come May, we will be close to flatlining. Does anybody remember me saying that? And guess what? Here we are. Here we are, almost. We're not there yet, but we are going in the right direction. Now, more news. Again, this is kind of all over the place, but it's just as news comes out, I'm just going to drop it at you guys so you guys can take it. Now, the deadline for the Real ID, which we've been trying to get in place now for a couple of years, has now been extended again. And the reason for that being extended again is basically because states workers getting things going back again and getting caught up. So they now have extended this until May the 3rd of 2023. So it's not even giving you 2 years. It's now giving you, well, yeah, 2 more years, including this year. So 2.5 years. Now, if you guys do not know what a Real ID is, a Real ID is your driver's license that has a star on it. So if you look at your driver's license right now, if it doesn't have a star on it, you don't have a Real ID. Now, what that means is that after May the 3rd of 2023, you cannot fly from here to another U.S. city. So it's domestically, it's fly domestically within the U.S. You would have to have a Real ID. I don't know about you guys, but I just go ahead and get them done. Keep in mind, don't panic. Passports are always golden. So you want to make sure you have a passport. Your passport always needs to have at least 6 months left on it from the time you're going to re-enter the country. Just FYI stuff. You know, sometimes I think everybody knows that, but then they don't. Now, also, if you guys go deja vu back to the beginning of this, the worst of the worst city was New York. So de Blasio has now said that New York City will reopen as of July 1st. I don't know if you guys saw this on the news last night, but it's not only going to reopen July 1st, but we're talking Broadway, we're talking dining, we're talking everything. So New York City is coming back. On top of it, Disneyland. Now, if you remember again, taking back deja vu, I'm going back to where it was the worst of the worst, which was New York, California. Now, Disneyland is in California. Disney World is in Florida. So Disneyland now is going to be welcoming back guests. And this has been more than a year that I think they've actually been shut down. So just to kind of emphasize where the hot spots have been, and also over in Europe, you know, you may get this little tidbit of news here and there. People bring stuff to my attention all the time, and I'm going, where did you hear that? So I just kind of want to give you an idea where it was the worst of the worst is becoming really good, which kind of tells you where we are. I put this up there because, you know, Caribbean, and now we're going to start sailing the Caribbean, and we're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. But if you look at the Caribbean, now don't look at Mexico, that's not really the Caribbean because it's a mainland. But if you're just looking at the islands, everything that's in green is open. I mean, like wide open. And this is also one of the things that has to happen for cruises to start back is they've got to be able to go into Puerto Rico, go into Jamaica, go into St. Lucia, go into Barbados. All of those are green. I don't know. This is very, very tiny. The only blue ones you're seeing is Guadalupe. You've got Martinique is there. Trinidad and Tobago currently are not, it's not that they're not open. They just don't have a timeline announced on when they're going to be open. But things are looking very green. I love it. So here's the big broadcasting news. And I'm sure you guys have probably heard this, but if you have not, because if you're on this talk, you love cruising just like I do. And the cruise lines, the CDC now is currently discussing a Caribbean relaunch. Now, what does that mean? CDC came out with some news that basically said that if there is 98% of the crew is vaccinated, 95% of the passengers are vaccinated, fully vaccinated, the CDC says that they will now allow them to start sailing, and this date is mid-July to restart in the U.S. Whew. You know how long I have waited to say that. And I just got through listening, was still kind of listening to a podcast podcast that was going on. And, you know, the thing is getting the vaccines, which, by the way, the cruise lines are having to buy these vaccines. They're buying the vaccines and getting everybody vaccinated. I am not hearing of any issue. In fact, I cannot tell you of anybody I've talked to that has not said they haven't been vaccinated. I take it back. There is one person. They're not a client. They were actually at the bank. And it's an immune system type thing. So, I mean, that's a medical situation. But where there is no reason medically why you couldn't, people are just getting them. And that is the ticket, guys. That's going to be your magic ticket to me. I'm getting ready to go to Cancun, Mexico, and I've got my passport. I've got my vaccination card, and I've got my global entry card. Those are my 3 magic numbers that I cannot wait to use. I can't wait to use them, and I'm sure we will be. So anyway, this is really good news, and this is what the cruise lines are currently now working on to. You've got to remember, when you guys got the vaccination, if you had the Johnson & Johnson, you only had 1 shot, but if you had Pfizer or Moderna, you had 1 shot, then you had to wait, and then you had to get the other, which is exactly what they're doing, which means July relaunch is going to be spectacular. And all of this protocol that we've been talking about, and a lot of that is already, yes, it's there, but some of it is starting to move away. So we will have on every single sailing as it goes out, we're going to know exactly what the protocol is. Because again, it's changing, loosening up, et cetera, et cetera. And again, this is just the one stating that there are cruises open to Americas this summer. And, you know, just to go back on that for a minute, there are cruises that are going out in June, which I think all of you probably know, that are going out of other ports other than the U.S. You've got St. Martin that Royal is going out of. You've got, Nassau that Royal's going out of. You've got St. Martin for Celebrity. Greece is going to be having a huge rebound because let me tell you, everybody is going into Greece. And if I hadn't been there twice already, I would probably go back. It is one of my favorite locations in the world. So if anybody's got that on their bucket list, this year would be the one to go. But to actually begin in America and sailings is what we're talking about for July. In June, sailing right now, actually, there's cruise ship sailing right now, just not in the U.S. Now, here's another one. Again, I'm going to talk about that changing. I keep talking about how things are consistently changing. You know, one point is like, should I just scrap this Travel Talk Tuesday? But it's because things are so changing and people are hearing so much stuff that I want to try and keep it pure. And I think by actually showing you some of these slides, it's saying to you, okay, this is really happening. So Bahama travel, vaccinated Americans can skip the COVID-19 test. So we have now, here's where it is. This is so fun. This is so fun to talk about. Okay, so the Bahamas was on a travel warning 4 for the CDC. But yet now, visitors that are vaccinated can just skip the whole. Do you see where the controversy is? So, get a travel agent, call me, and we'll get you. So the wonderful part is all the protocol that you have to go through to get the test, to make sure it's the right timing, to get to the Bahamas, to get on the ship, to do the sailing, to come back, it's starting to loosen up. So that's really good news. That's real good news. Now, my favorite topic. I like this one. Richard Fame, Alaska season more likely after the CDC relaxes the rules. So for those of you who are not familiar with what's going on with Alaska and Canada, it's not all necessarily Canada. I don't know what all the issues are up there, but their government is feeling very cautious and protective about their borders until they can get their arms around the COVID. Fine. But because there is this act called it's called the PVSA, Passenger Vehicle Service Act, that was created in 1887 or 1886. I don't know which one of those years. And basically it said that it was for shipbuilding at that time, but it states that if a passenger cruise ship of any kind or a ship that carrying people left the U.S. at any one time needed to just touch a border before returning. Now, it was very, very interesting. And that's the reason why you guys go, okay, well, why don't we go back to Victoria, Canada on the way back to Seattle? If you do a loop, if you do Alaska and you do a round trip inside passage through Seattle, you always went to Victoria on the way home. Well, half the time I didn't get off because you're only there for about 4 or 5 hours. But the reason is to, appear to that act that you had to touch a border. It's the same thing if you were to leave the border of the West Coast and you want to go over to Hawaii, which is, by the way, I just read this, makes total sense. It's not just Alaska that's being killed by this PVSA, it's Hawaii that's being killed. Because before, if you did the trans-Pacific or back and forth, my allergies are going to kick in. I hope not. Then you would have to go back to Vancouver in most cases. Or if you're sailing out there in the South Pacific and you leave from Hawaii, you got to go find the nearest island is like 200 miles south of Hawaii. So you've got a day sailing down, touch that border, day sailing back to get back into Hawaii. Other than, and this is where I'm having hope. I hope I'm not jumping all over the place. The Pride of America by with Norwegian Cruise Line back in 2003 had an exemption to the PVSA, which allows it just to cruise the Hawaiian border. And they stated that this whole PVSA back in 2003, very complicated situation with Congress, but allows it to happen. Okay. And that's an all-American ship. So right now, it's not just Canada, which obviously is going to be hurt by it, but we're looking more at our Alaska and more at our Hawaii borders that is really going to be hurt by that is. So Hawaii has now joined the forces. You got Alaska joining in there. You got Florida joining in, and they are really working to bypass or give some type of an exemption to this PVSA. It's already happened once with the Pride of America, in my opinion. I don't know why we can't do it again. Also, the other thing we could do is a technical. And then what a technical means is like, okay, I would pull into the port of Victoria, or I would pull into Vancouver. Nobody gets off the ship. The ship just sits there for about an hour, and then you back out of there and you head down to Seattle to offload the passengers. That's okay. It's called a technical. You touch the border, nobody got off, nobody got hurt, and then off you go. So I'm dwelling on this because Alaska is so huge. It's one of my favorite places too. It is so huge. And I'm hearing really positive stuff. I don't know if I've got another slide. No, I don't. But the rumors, there's nothing solid right now. We don't know. We still have a group that's going out in July that is doing Alaska Rail. And no, I've got 4 people on waiting list to get on. That's a given because we're going into Fairbanks and we're coming out of Anchorage. We ain't touching nobody. We're on land. We're going by train, so we're good. It's the rail portion at the back half that, we may have to adjust to. But right now, everything seems to be going in the right direction. I hope that made somebody feel good out there. I can't see the comments or anything being on these dual screens. So, okay. So now this is funny. And I'd love to see this. This week it's called Cruise Recovery. So Carnival, now this is in Galveston, actually has several ships that are going down there and they're doing like a rally. They're doing a rally with cruise ships to really get everybody excited about it. It's called a cruise rally. So they're going to have like bands and blood and parties, whatever. I don't know. You just can't go anywhere. But I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm very excited to get back to the water. I just cannot wait. And with that being said, and I put this back up on my Facebook, and I actually have it at the end here if you guys want to hang out and do it. This is called the Celebrity Beyond. And it's a part of the Apex, it's a part of the Edge family, but they've just made it so much bigger and better, which is very interesting. If you guys think about before COVID, things were getting smaller. It's like it was tighter on the ship, harder to find a beach chair, harder to get, find your own space. Same thing for airlines, seats were getting smaller. I know I would sit down on an airline, my knees were at my nose. Now it's just the opposite. We need to be more spread out. We need to have more room. And this ship is really bringing it on. And I want to say it's the first of the new generation to actually be able to take that more space, bigger and wider and more open is the direction we need to go in. This is an absolutely drop dead gorgeous ship. I want to say probably there's two ships that I think are probably the prettiest. Or there's one, the reflection, Celebrity Reflection is probably one. There's one section I think is just absolutely beautiful. But this ship, well, from what I've seen from the renderings, is just absolutely gorgeous. So if you want to hang out at the end of this, I'll play it. It's about a 3-minute. If you want to see it, if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely incredible. It's a beautiful ship. And if you're interested in getting on it, doing a group, holler back at me. Let me know. We'll see what we can look for some really, because I know once she starts sailing, this is how it works with cruise lines. While they're building them, prices are kind of reasonable. But once she sails and all the hoopla gets out there, boom, prices go up. By the way, if you guys heard prices are going up, let me go back. On everything, lumber, house prices, gas. I mean, everything seems to be going up. So trust me, when all of that's happening and you can get on a cruise ship, especially with Celebrity, because Celebrity right now is all inclusive. So you've got your Wi-Fi, you're going to have your gratuities paid, and you've got a beverage package. Plus you can eat some amazing food. Talk about it really good. Maybe we could just go there for about a year. I would love to do that. I know. All right. So I'm going to introduce a couple of land tours. And this is what I was talking to Sarah. Sarah and 3 of her friends are actually booked, or we're trying to get them booked on this. Their numbers are up there, Sarah, just to let you know. But because this is in Europe, it actually has to be booked by the Scottish Railways. So we're waiting on Scotland. I got one of them back, so I'll get the rest. And when I do, I'll send them all to you. But we have a group here, so I don't have to worry about this. And if you guys want to get this flyer is absolutely beautiful. This is, they usually don't do that. They just did this for us. But this is Vacations by Rail. And I don't know if Judy's on or not, but Judy, if you remember, we drove up from, I think it was Glasgow, and we started going up into the northern parts of Scotland. Absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, I was a little jet lagged, and I wanted to sleep half the time. But if you look at this itinerary, this one is just so good. I really am thinking about doing this one. And it's simply because it's by rail. So you're not in, you can get up and move around. You've got scenic. I don't know if anybody's ever done the rail in Alaska. It's absolutely my favorite way of seeing whatever, but you're not restricted to a seat. You can actually get up and move around. And if you look at all the rail that is on there, it's incredible. You get into Edinburgh. I can't go through all these. Plus, you're going to take rail over, and all of these very unique islands are going to be visited, and then again railed back down. So if you want this flyer actually has a day-by-day shot of everything that's going on. It's got an incredible price on it. I think it's like 24 something, and I forget how many days it is for rail. That's crazy. Also, this is all on Tours and Grooves by Kathy, so you can check it out there. And then I want to tell you about this one. This just came out yesterday. The historic trains of the Old West and the Albuquerque Balloon Festival for this year has been sold out solid. I mean, just sold out solid. And I couldn't get space fast enough, and I had people really wanting it. So, and I'm still hearing it as such. So this is 2022. So if you had hopes of doing this in 21, And for one or two reasons, A, it was either sold out. Two, you weren't really sure about if it was, the right time or whatever. This one for 2022 is I've already got the seats and the group help. So it's September 28th, basically the same time, because I think we picked that time right for this year. Again, you're going to be getting that color transition when you think about September and October, and especially out there at the Rockies and the different levels you're going to get. I love the Rockies because you actually can see like 3 seasons at a time. And so this one just literally came out. So if you have an interest in it for 2022, let me know. Okay. All right. So that's kind of the scoop for what's traveling. It's all good news. Hawaii, and I think Connie, because I remember in the beginning, Connie said, and I'll go back in a few minutes here once I stop sharing and see if there was any questions. If you do have any questions, put them over there. But Hawaii is good, but vaccination, they're going to want people vaccinated. I know the Pride is not going out without vaccination. So just keep those things in mind. But everything is looking pretty positive and opening up probably faster than we can report it right now. One of the hot spots, though, is definitely Mexico. Mexico and the DR, the 2 islands right now, and I take it back, it'll be Bahamas here soon, that does not require like a COVID-19 test or anything to get into the country. So the only thing you really need is your passport to get there. Coming home, however, CDC is still saying you need to have a negative COVID test. So the properties that we're going to are supplying these free of charge. So, and they're making sure that everything is seamless when you get there. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm leaving for Cancun on, we fly May 7th. We're going to drive over to Charlotte on May 6th, visit with my son. May 7th, we're headed to Cancun, Mexico, and we're going to be staying at the one up here in the corner. If you look up in that very corner, it's called Margaritaville. Brand new resort. It is Margaritaville Reserve, which means it is an all-inclusive. Now, if you see these dates down here on the bottom, May 10th, 12th, and June 3rd. So, and you see my daytime logo here. So on May the 10th, we are going to be broadcasting live. So you want to be sure and make sure you're on Daytime Tri-Cities. We're going to be hopefully weather good, Wi-Fi works, everything's, fingers crossed. I said, God willing, we will be broadcasting live from Margaritaville. And then we are on the 12th, we are going over here to El Dorado Seaside. I think it is that we're going to the El Dorado Seaside. I'm hoping to get to travel these other properties while I'm there. And if I can either get some video going or something to give you an idea, because I'm getting really good vibes about this company, Charisma. And Caesar has been more than supporting. And so I'm excited to get down there and experience the property. And I'm glad, I think it's about 26 of you are going with me, which is even just, it's a nice, small, well, in COVID terms, that's a large group. But in the old world, that was a small group, but 26. And then we are going to go do some taping, because obviously I've got to come home. Dang it. I'm coming home on the 14th, but we're going to go and do some taping at this Nickelodeon Hotel and Resort. Again, brand spanking new. And we'll be showing that on daytime on the 3rd of June. So just be focused on that. No, tomorrow I'm going to be on Daytime Tri-Cities. Now, I said this last time I was on Travel Talk, and I didn't make it to Daytime Tri-Cities. So God willing, tomorrow I'm going to be on Daytime Tri-Cities in the morning, and Caesar's going to be coming in from Cancun. And we're going to be getting everybody excited, hopefully to join us, visually, virtually, I guess you could say, down in Cancun on that. So hopefully tomorrow I will be in daytime. And for those of you who you don't worry about it. Tomorrow, that was the first time I've missed daytime in over 10 years. I've been working with them over 10 years. So that was hard. But hopefully, God willing, I'll be there tomorrow. Okay, so Travel Talk Tuesday. Okay, here is, and I've got this little cute thing over here. It says, stay tuned. Here's what I believe I'm going to do. On May the 11th, which is next Tuesday, is it not? I think so. I'm going to try doing a live Travel Talk from Cancun. I've done it before. We are going to give it a shot. And I want to, when I get down there, I'll be able to, it really only has to do with if I'm able to do the equipment. We're going to be traveling properties that day. Maybe it'll be one of the new properties that we're not actually filming, and you might get a sneak peek in one of those new ones. So I'm going to try it. It's if we can get the equipment to really to do, you know, me, I'm an old bird here. I don't do a lot of tech savvy stuff. So I'm trying. So stay tuned on that. I will be posting out there if we're going to be doing some travel talk live down in Cancun on the following, on the 11th. Just to let you know, though, on the 18th, which is yet the following one, and again, I'll put this up there, we will not have a travel talk. I have a procedure that should have been done on Monday, did not get done, is going to be done on the 18th, which is Travel Talk Tuesday. So I'll be knocked out, and I won't be able to do that. So let's hopefully we can get this May 11th Travel Talk done. All right. And let's see. Okay, this is, I may come back to this. So I'm going to stop sharing right now. And let's see. Hang on. Probably won't be able to do that. Funny. I was getting ready to X on the Celebrity X. Okay, hang on a minute. I am really just not. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, here we go. I'm coming back to you slowly but surely. There I am. Hey. Okay, so I want to go and see if we got any questions. And then the last thing that I want to do is maybe go back and try and play that celebrity. Or I better yet, what might be best is I may just go ahead and post it up on Facebook, and that way you can watch it. So we'll do it that way. And that's on the Celebrity Beyond. Like I said, it's a beautiful, beautiful ship. So, hey, Mr. Frank Johnson, how are you doing? Lois says, what is a global card? Oh, good question, Lois. It is, I have a global entry card. So it's something that kind of, when you leave the country and you come back in, you can kind of bypass all the lines. You have to fill out all this questionnaire. You have to pay for it. You have to sit down in front. You have all this background check done on you. And then you have to sit down with a federal agent and do an eye-to-eye interview. And then they give you this little card so that you can it's kind of a skip the lines thing. So it's global entry is what it is. Miss Eloise is on board. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Arthur says the weather looks great in Cancun. We had some rain over the weekend in Texas. Yeah, well, we got rain like crazy. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that we will have good flying weather in doing there. So Miss Lois is there. All right. I don't think I have any other questions. No, that's it. So that's it for Travel Talk Tuesday, and I think I am right on time. You guys be good. Remember, stay tuned tomorrow. Tune in on daytime while we're gone. If you will like this video and forward it to someone that you know, it will help us keep this going. You guys be good and safe. Talk to you soon.